What is going on, Jet fans? I am Matt O'Leary back with another video today, and what I want to get into is 3 New York Jets who I think need to bounce back in week 2 in order for the Jets to win this game against the Dallas Cowboys. There's no secret. It's going to be a very tough matchup against Dallas. That's not to say that they have zero chance of winning this game. I think, with how good this defense is, they're going to be in all these games, but it's a very, very tough matchup to go down to Dallas on the road and win in that building. So I got 3 guys on my list who I thought weren't great in week 1 and that could use a bounce back performance. And if these guys do bounce back, then I think that only elevates the New York Jets' chances of winning this game against the Dallas Cowboys. So we'll start with Laken Tomlinson. I thought he had a brutal week 1 game. A lot of people thought he had a really brutal week 1 game, but pretty much everyone except for Seth Walder, who covers ESPN, I don't trust Seth Walder as far as I can throw Seth Walder. I don't agree with any of his thought processes usually. He had a IOL, so IOL is interior offensive lineman, run block win rate, and Laken Tomlinson ranked 10th there, but I don't, that didn't line up to the eye test. The film didn't look great either. He allowed 2 pressures, a hit, a penalty. Again, if you want to go off the ESPN analytics with Seth Walder, that's on you. You are more than welcome to do that. I did not think Laken Tomlinson played well. He didn't play well for the 17 games last year. To me, I said it in the preview video, he's on thin ice for me going forward. I have a very short leash with him, and I have they need to make a decision with him sooner rather than later. And maybe it's unfair to be like, hey, Joe Tippmann, your first start in the NFL is going to be against the New England Patriots playing left guard. Good luck to you. But I would say, like, if he gives you 1 or 2 more performances in a row like he just gave you against Buffalo in week 1, you have to consider making that switch, because there's no way that Joe Tippmann could be worse than what we've seen from Laken Tomlinson over the last year plus. It hasn't been good. And I get it. Like, the offensive line hasn't played a ton together. So maybe it gets better the more that they play as a unit. That's obviously a hope and an expectation as well. But Laken's, they need him to just be average. They need him to be a serviceable offensive lineman. He's been, in my opinion, a below average guard, a significantly below average guard. And to me, he's on replacement watch. The second guy on this list is Dalvin Cook. So Breece Hall went for over 100 yards on his 10 carries. Dalvin Cook had 13 carries, which is 3 more than Breece Hall. Ran for 33 yards, which is 2.5 yards per attempt. Now, I'm not going to completely kill the guy, because I think that Buffalo is a very, very tough team to run against, but he has a much better matchup this week against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Jets should be focusing on the run game in this game and going forward. I said the recipe should be 30-plus runs a game. That would be my mindset going forward if the recipe for success on offense is running the football. And between Breece and Dalvin and Michael Carter and Zach Wilson, and maybe add Izzy in there eventually, they need to be mixing those guys in and keeping them fresh. But I thought it was a poor performance from Dalvin in week 1. And some of the underlying numbers kind of say that. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because some of these, this was evident in his 2022 season. But comparatively with Breece Hall, here's the numbers. Out of 33 running backs with 10-plus carries in week 1, rushing yards over expected per carry, minus 1.7. Dalvin Cook ranked 31st. Yards after contact per carry, 1.8. Cook ranked 30th. Missed tackles forced per carry, Cook was 9th. All right, that's good, 0.23. And EPA per carry was negative 0.3. Which is 24th in the NFL out of those 33 backs. So he is definitely someone who I think needs to have a better performance in week 2, against the Dallas Cowboys. And last is one of my favorite players on this Jets team who just didn't have a really good game, and not saying I'm out on him, not saying I'm even worried about him, but just pointing it out, talking through it. And actually, I think it kind of points to how good he is that this is considered such an outlier for him. But Sauce Gardner had a tough game in week 1. This was probably Sauce Gardner's worst game as a pro. At 23 years old and only 18 games in his NFL career, he allowed a 80% reception percentage, so 4 catches on 5 targets, 59 yards, 2 missed tackles. He didn't allow a touchdown, though. So 4 catches, 59 yards, and 0 touchdowns is considered the worst that Sauce Gardner's ever done. Again, I think that kind of just speaks to how good of a player that Sauce Gardner is, that like that is such a focal point and such something that's caught on. And that's not saying like, oh my God, Sauce Gardner was exposed or he was cooked by Diggs, because it's not like he followed Diggs around. It was both Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, and Diggs is a great wide receiver. He's a top 5 wide receiver in the sport in my eyes, and he proved why in week 1. He's a really, really damn good player. But Sauce Gardner didn't play well, and with CD Lamb and potentially Brandon Cooks and all their wide receivers, they're a good team. The Dallas Cowboys should be able to put up points, and they're going to need Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed and Michael Carter II to play up to the task. And if both of those guys get better, which I think they will, and specifically Sauce Gardner, that just adds an extra element, because really, to me, the story from the Buffalo Bills game, the corners, which is arguably their best room, the defensive line and cornerback room are right up there towards the top. On the defense, I thought that the line was the best unit. I was impressed by the linebackers. Quincy Williams, who I'm tough on. I'll be honest with you. I've been tough on Quincy Williams, but I thought he was spectacular. I thought he was great in week 1. He was flying all over the field. The missed tackles, which is the biggest gripe that I have with him, went away. He didn't miss tackles in this game, and he was very, very good in coverage. So I really hope that this is the Quincy Williams we're getting over the remaining 16 games, because if so, good God, the Jets got an absolute baller. And at safety, Jordan Whitehead, another person that a lot of Jet fans are tough on, myself included, in the offseason, was great. 3 interceptions. He was fantastic. So safeties played well, linebackers played well, defensive line played well, but the cornerback room wasn't really that spectacular. And if Sauce Gardner gets back to being Sauce Gardner, which I think he does, then that's even better. Then the Jets will have a legitimate chance in this game to pull an upset. So those are my 3 guys. I want to hear from you down below in the comments. Who are your guys that you think need to have bounce back games in week 2? Are you worried about any of these guys listed? Sound off. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Like the video before you go, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.